Welcome, everybody. It's your girl, Delores, just a pink girl in my pink world, here on every social platform. Here today with the Hit the Roast podcast. And guess who's back, ladies and gentlemen? You know, yesterday I had a little shaky voice. I was like, I don't know if J.News going to be here. But guess what? J.News is back. Everybody, J.News, you got something to tell the good people.
Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here, September 7th. And it feels like the summer done came and went. And it is time for us to continue to bring you all the news and updates that happened in this week's wrestling world. So we will be getting on the road to that.
Well, J.News, if you don't know, I got a bum ankle. Most of the subscribers found out yesterday. Um, I I was not. I did not. I was supposed to intending to record it, but I did not, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, J-News. Because AJ Lee came out, I threw my wheelchair in reverse, jumped up, and started skipping around the room. And my already injured ankle was like, we're done for today. So I have been hobbling around for the past few days. Hey, Hassan. Yes, I would. Worlds Collide is on YouTube, ESPN, and they made it clear the other day. ESPN Plus will only be for the major pay-per-views. NXT will stay on Peacock. So, you know, and if key to this, I'm not telling anybody, but suggesting if you already have a package which includes ESPN Plus, or you think it does, check that out. Some companies like Xfinity and them haven't scheduled a deal yet. They were supposed to do that before the end of this year. So they weren't concerned about it before they immediately changed. So if you got Hulu, check into those packages. There's some other packages I heard of that include ESPN Plus in there. Make sure it's ESPN Plus, not ESPN. Some ESPN Unlimiteds don't have it. ESPN Plus. That's the only way you can watch it. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get over to the Hit the Road studio, over here into the fun zone, which I don't even hold on, J-News. I don't even see the Hit the Ropes. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for what? It's time for review. J-News, if you've been missing for so long. So I would like to say, when it's time for a review, you already know what it is. Yes, it's time for us to give out kudos. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start off with WWE. Raw, ladies and gentlemen. It was Raw 1684 on the 1st of September. We had the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, defeating the Judgment Day of Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. We had Finn Balor defeating Dragon Lee. We had Penta and the War Raiders of Eric and Ivar defeating Grayson Waller and the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. We had WWE Intercontinental title match, Dominic Mysterio defeating AJ Styles. And you already know how I feel about that, bad. Division, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed defeated Jey Uso and LA Knight. Did you see any of this, J-News, and what did you think about it?
I've been trying to get myself reacquainted with the storylines on WWE TV for the last couple of weeks, just to see if anything sticks for me from an entertainment standpoint. I understand what's going on with the Kabuki Warriors, Kairi Sane and Asuka, and how their relationship is going with Io Sky and Asuka being confrontational with people who are surrounding Io or trying to make friends with Io, that including Rhea Ripley and stuff like that. The Judgment Day girls losing here was a little surprising, but that is what that is, even though they're still the women's tag team champions, I believe. And so that might set up another match for them down the road for for the championships. It was cool to see Dragon Lee on Raw this week. There's weeks where he just won't. There's weeks, might even a month pass by at one point where Dragon Lee didn't appear, and it was cool to see him versus Finn. Finn still being able to show that he has levels to his game. So shout out to Finn, but there was chicanery involving JD McDonough during this match, as there is during Judgment Day matches. So that went the way that I thought it was going to go. The weirdness continues with Penta being paired with these different tag teams and with different people. I'm not sure what the build is here. Why they didn't pair him with his brother from the get-go, but it is what it is. I still haven't been able to latch on to this whole team of Grayson Waller and the New Day. And whatever the New Day is doing now is just not entertaining to me. So it is what it is there. Dominic Mysterio beating AJ Styles. Yeah, I'm not too sure what they're going to do with Dominic Mysterio and this Intercontinental Championship. I feel like they have a need for Dominic to be part of the AAA scene. So I'm not too sure how that's going to be working out, especially with him still being the Intercontinental Champion. And yeah, man, AJ Styles is on he's not on his John Cena retirement tour, but it seems that news came about this week that AJ Styles' WWE contract expires in February of 2026. So folks might be seeing the last few months of AJ Styles' wrestling career, because AJ Styles has stated before that he does not want to wrestle past the age of 50. So there's that of that. And then with the Vision stuff, the Braun Boys, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed defeating Jey Uso and LA Knight. That I saw coming. Then they beat everybody down. Big Jim came down for the save. Jey Uso basically letting Big Jim know that he can't do this by himself. So it seems, not guaranteed, it seems that they'll be putting the Usos back together. So we'll see how that all works out. But it was another solid episode of Raw, from a storytelling perspective and all that.
And we had the Becky first slapping the dog snot out of CM Punk.
Yeah,
and that let us know, and even her being like, "Oh, she don't work here no more." That was the nail in the coffin to be like, made us so excited about seeing AJ coming back. I will explain why some people, because ironically, if you go on the Workhorse Wrestling Network, Anika was live during SmackDown. Her niece, who is not that younger than us, who knows about AJ Lee, literally, like, when my mom heard it, it was the literal same exact scream I screamed. And it's like loud, piercing excitement out of my body, because when you become attached to some of these wrestlers and you get to know their personal life outside of wrestling, it makes you more excited when you get to see them like make returns and do stuff like do great stuff. So I'll mark out towards the end, but I want but I want to say that was also a good thing, because it was like I wasn't expecting her to slap him like that. She slapped him for all it was worth. She got all her money's worth out of it. But it was the fact that he just kind of was like, I won't put my hands on a woman, which we already know he probably would have Oh, CM Punk probably would have did it. But he was just kind of like super calm about it. And so that made it more exciting to be like, okay, what are we gonna see? What are they gonna do? Then we'll get to Friday Night Fight. Then we'll talk about after the show. Some things went down, and they WWE put it out themselves. It wasn't like just fans recording. A lot of the fans were so excited they were shaking and the camera was shaking. You barely could see anything, but at least we got some kind of storyline development with that because when she screwed him out, you weren't here when we covered it. When she screwed him at the pay per view, it was like, okay, we see the vision coming, but WWE has done it plenty of times where we see it coming and then they don't give us what we want. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next thing, which was NXT. Me and J.News, we're gonna go to the back. And J.News, I don't know if you saw this, but I had a good time with this show. It was on NXT 801 on the second. Lash Legend defeated that girl Jada Parker. We had for the WWE Women's Speed Title number one contendership tournament semifinal match. Y'all better stop with these long titles. Candice LeRae defeated Zaya Brookside. For a non-title match, we had Jordan Grace defeat Kalani Armstrong. We had Josh Briggs defeating Andre Chase. Hank and Taker, Hank Waller and Tank Ledger, along with Obafemi and Ricky Starks, defeated the Dark State of Cutler James, Deion Lennox, Osiris Griffin, and Shaquan Sugars. We have Lola Vice, so Ruka and Zaria defeat Fatal Influence of Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nick. J.News, did you see this and what did you think?
I saw the NXT show. I thought it interesting that they started the show with Lash and Jada. They have been building up towards this one-on-one match between these two lovely young ladies, and they definitely peaked their quarter-hour ratings with that match. So that is what that is there. The ladies basically whooped each other's asses till the bell rang, and then Jada Parker jumped Lash Legend after the bell was rang, and she got defeated. So those girls are going to continue to feud. The speed title thing is a little bit confusing. I think that at this point, that show that speed was on Twitter, and that show was designed and booked, I believe, by Jeremy Borash and Pete Dunne, and it didn't have a high level of viewership to begin with. But for them to move it on to NXT, I understand the experiment, but I feel like the company has too many titles in the first place and they don't have solid storylines for all the titles. So from my personal vantage point, I feel like this speed title is something that they should really do away with. But for the match purposes, we have Candice LeRae defeating a returning Zaya Brookside to NXT. Zaya Brookside, who's currently signed to TNA and used to be signed to NXT UK and had a short stint on US NXT. She made she made her re-debut here on NXT against Candice LeRae. I thought even for the 3 minutes that they had, I thought it was enjoyable and stuff like that. It showed that Zaya Brookside has learned quite a lot and has developed quite a bit since she's been gone from WWE. And Candice LeRae still doing the damn thing that she's been doing for damn near the last 2 decades. So there's that. Jordan Grace defeating, I believe, Callie Armstrong's on Evolve. She's their women's.
I think she's also been on that speed show too.
LFG.
No, the speed Twitter show.
Oh, Speed. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But Kelly Armstrong.
I think she's been on there. I think I saw her on there. Okay. Now, when it comes to speed, it was good matches and a semi good show. It's just the placement they put it. You put it on Twitter. An announcement came shortly after. People were like, the owner had did some things and they were leaving them and going to the competitor of Blue Sky. And so then you put your show on there where it's essentially has turned into, if you want to be on there, you support this man, his beliefs. Some people feel, and also a lot of the things that you need to get to do these things, you have to pay for it. So like you remember back in the day, we used to go live on Twitter. You have to pay for it. To even DM certain people, you have to pay for it. So at a certain point, it's become I'm not gonna pay for it, and then I'm really not getting the use that I can out of it. And I got 9 other social medias. A lot of people just don't even look at it.
Yeah, I think just to piggyback off of the statement about the use of X slash Twitter, whatever you want to call it. As a side note, I think they went not that they once Elon Musk decided to buy Twitter or whatever. The notion that you have to pay in order for you to edit your own tweets is a bit absurd. So I have the service. I use this service. I don't pay for it. You can pay for different tiers of different things on there. There's a crazy level of just negativity and hate on that particular platform. And then secondarily, there's also a certain level of entitlement on there as well, just because you do pay for a service. And it's social media, folks. Like, if you don't understand that by now it's 2025, social media has been in existence since the days of MySpace, if we want to be for real in that regard. Social media has always been free. So for folks to think that there's somebody because they pay for a blue check, or they pay to have an account on there so that they can monetarily benefit from people clicking on their posts and things of that nature. What's the title that they use? Engagement, right? Engage with their posts and all that jazz. I think it's
not even engaging, because I'm just gonna be bluntly honest, because I know they watch or whatever. It was some people, I found them, has an award. A night, the person who hosted it has a lot of cachet and background in wrestling and stuff like that. But they wanted to start their own YouTube thing. Great. That's great. Group of people, great group of people. Love them, love their show. Go in there all the time because they on it just about every day. Said I would work with them, okay, because we're gonna be honest now. My numbers and workers wrestling numbers are way better than theirs. I said, okay, let's collaborate. They said, cool, cool, cool. Message the person on Twitter. I go on Twitter and they're like, if you want a message, you have to pay. And I'm like, I you need to make other forms of me to get in contact with you, because if I'm not gonna pay to ask you to come on my show, that's not what I'm gonna do. And especially like 15, 16, $17. I'm not paying that to talk to you.
Yeah,
That's not, and it's like and like we kept going through this thing. It was like, oh, reach out to me. Well, I would, but I'm not gonna pay for this service. I'm not gonna do. It's not worth my money. I tell people to pay for stuff all the time, and I tell people, if you're gonna spend money on hair and nails, invest in yourself. But this is not something that needs to be invested in. You're not gonna really even make money back on it. Now, the money I invest in this channel eventually, looking like a little bit sooner, will make me money. I won't be making money by spending money at Twitter, because nobody barely goes over there. Nobody cares.
It's like I was saying before, to wrap this up about it. It's just a bit much at the end of the day. It's not conducive to the service at all, in my estimation, and it just gives people this false sense of entitlement with certain things, and just the way that people interact and treat each other on there in general, right? Just even outside of the pro wrestling sphere and things of that nature. It's a whole lot more negative than it is positive, and I just find it unnecessary. But we were on the Jordan Grace versus Kelly Armstrong match. That was actually a pretty strong match between the two ladies. Yeah. Kelly Armstrong looking real good in the ring, looking like she can hang with Jordan Grace, and Kelly Armstrong is as green can be. for in the wrestling world. So
Why do you want J.News to come over with it? They said no, J.News can't come over.
kudos to her for her rise through the ranks and her level of development in the WWE system. So she's somebody that people should really look out for in the future. Josh Briggs just going scorched earth with Andre Chase here. Basically, that was a squash match there with Andre Chase. Josh Briggs trying to make himself a bit more noticed and important in the WWE NXT title scene. So we'll see as to how that works out for him. Hank and Tank, Obafemi and Ricky Saints. That was a hodgepodge thing that went all together to take on the Dark State. They failed those boys over in Dark State. I don't know why they're continuing or why they're trying to continue with that whole thing. But from this match, we basically got out of it that Ricky Saints will eventually be taking on Obafemi one-on-one on whatever their next PLE is going to be.
No Mercy on the 27th.
There you go. And then the ladies ended the night as they should. Lola Vice is being spotlighted in the last several weeks on NXT TV. She was teaming with Zaruka against the girls from Fatal Influence. It's about that time. I haven't been on the show for 2 weeks, and I stated it before, and I'll state it again. It's about that time JC Jane get up off that belt, man. It was nice ride when she had it, but she wasn't supposed to have that belt for that long. So at the end of the day, I feel that Lola Vice should be on her merry way to get that NXT Women's Championship, and they need to finally decide whether what it is they're going to do with Zarya and Sol Ruka. Because for a long period of time they hinted that they were going to try to break them up, and then they really put that to bed for the later half of the last 2 months. So
I think they're not into trying to surprise us, but once you open the can, it's hard to put the top back on.
So in this case, I feel like those girls should have gone after the women's tag team championships on a from a legit perspective. So we'll see as to what happens with those two girls. The Fatal Influence girls are bound to break up. They've been teasing that for the last month or so. So we'll see what the fallout from that's going to be in the next coming weeks as well.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go back in the way back and move on. The next few shows won't have a lot of matches. We had a lot of story. Ladies and gentlemen, we're doing SmackDown 1359 on the 5th on USA Network. I want to note that this is the greatest day of my life. Okay? I ain't got no kids, so I can say this. This is the greatest day of my life. And I also made them broke my ankle. WWE United States title match. Sami Zayn faced John Cena. The only hateful part of this match is that Brock Lesnar came out. So it ended in a no contest. Aleister Black defeated Damian Priest in a semi-good match. In WWE World United States title match, Julia defeated Michin. J.News, did you see this and what did you think? Hi, Tim.
Hey, Tan. SmackDown was WWE show of the week. Basically, they were setting everything up for folks to watch SmackDown on the USA Network from the tail end of their last PLE, the last WWE PLE, which I believe was Clash in Paris. They, Becky, upnutting CM Punk, and then her smacking CM Punk around on Raw, and then we then lead into SmackDown, and everybody in the whole entire wrestling world was waiting with bated breath as to the comeback and all that stuff. But before the comeback happened, the first hour of the show was dedicated to John Cena. John Cena came out, cut his long-winded promo as he usually does.
Well, it's supposed to be his last SmackDown period.
Right, because this was John's last SmackDown in Chicago, his last SmackDown period. He cut his long-ass promo. Then Sami Zayn came out, basically acknowledging John, praising John, and then asking John for permission to do the U.S. open challenge yet again to get John's blessing, and John gave Sami Zayn his blessing, and then from there, Sami Zayn said, "But wait, there's more. Let's get this match cracking." They had a great match for a match on SmackDown. Um, John Cena paying it forward 10 years later. Sami Zayn paying it forward 10 years later to John Cena. John Cena gave Sami Zayn his first U.S. United States Championship match in 2015 on a SmackDown. Now Sami Zayn being the U.S. champion, he gave John Cena his last U.S. Championship match. Like Delores said, no contest due to Brock Lesnar interference. By the end of it, Brock Lesnar takes out both John Cena and Sami Zayn. And we know that we're heading towards John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at the WrestlePalooza show. That'll be the first live PLE on their ESPN streaming app on Sunday. Is it Sunday, September 20th? It's a Sunday, right? Yeah, or Saturday.
It's Saturday, I think.
Yeah, Saturday. So Saturday, September 20th and stuff like that. So they're building a pretty big card there. For whatever reason, and I'll be honest, I haven't been into this feud between Aleister Black and Damian Priest. It's really sort of just fell by the wayside for me. Decent TV match, like you said, Delores. I don't really have much else to say about that. I will say this about the next match. You know, this is the WWE Women's United States Championship. They created this title, it seems, for no reason. They haven't really done much with it outside of what they did with Chelsea Green. And we all know how good Chelsea is with her comedic timing and her being a comedic heel and things of that nature. But once they put the championship on Julia, it should have really been something to raise her stock and profile. And they really haven't done much with it or have done much with her since they put that title on her.
I think they don't put her in a bad situation because we praised them for letting her be her. They like Stephanie Becker speak her language. You know, she was doing really good. And then I think she might have had 1 or 2 bad promos. And then they stuck her with Kiana. And it's like, Kiana is not the greatest promo in the world.
I don't want to say they stuck her with Kiana because she's been rehabbing for over a year at this point. And her entry point, they didn't really have a solid entry point for Kiana James to return.
She could have beefed with me, like they've done this million times. She could have beefed with Michin. They could have had it out. Then she could just climbed her way slowly but surely because she has history with Tiffany. So she could have just climbed her little way up to the top, lost that match with Tiffany, came back down. You know, like they could have done something.
But she's not necessarily well known in the grander scale of the WWE universe, so they have to reintroduce her somehow. So I feel like putting her with, I agree with you that putting her with Julia is not necessarily the greatest thing, because when I saw them together, I was like, are they really going to do this to Julia now after all the work that Julia's done personally with learning the language and accommodating herself to the US and everything else in between? It's like, well, you know, all the work you've done doesn't really matter. We're going to stick you with the girl who knows how to speak English and we'll go from there type deal. I don't like that look of it. I agree with you there. But they needed a different entry point for Kiana James because she's still not well known within the grander scale of the WWE universe. So to stick her in any lane that would lead her to Tiffany at this point wouldn't have made much sense. Just from a grander WWE thing. And to talk about Michin, I've been a Mia Yim fan for years.
Yes.
And I understand, I get it, that there are certain people who like where they are and you know, they like their positions and stuff like that. I feel like she's been stuck in the same role for over a year now in this particular.
You can't blame her in this. Well, I can't blame her, period. But you can't blame them because they put her with AJ and Gallows in them. And then slowly but surely, each one of them, the tag team, one of them got hurt. Then AJ got hurt. Then they came back. Then they get fired. And then AJ was injured. So then she didn't have nobody. And it was like they were just flip-flopping everywhere. They couldn't figure a place to put her.
Yeah, no,
And she was having these
that
matches, these big time matches, even the one she had with Zelina, and then it's just like she was losing because they had the high hand. So she was just she really doesn't. I don't know if you can put her in a tag team, but who was she tagged with?
yeah, they put her in a perpetual hole of being the person that the whoever the U.S. Women's Champion was continued to beat at the end of the
Mhm.
day. For all intents and purposes, Michin, aka Mia Yim, is the mainstay in the women's United States title scene. While all the different champions that have been along the way have gone on to one beat her and then do different things, and she's the only one vying for this champ or challenging for this championship. I don't know, man. It's to make her a perpetual loser at this point just doesn't sit right with me. And I feel like she should be doing something different. But at the end of the day, I'm just a fan. I'm not saying she should leave the WWE or anything like that. I just would like to see her do something different. That is all.
Yeah.
And after this match took place, we went to the main event segment of the night. Started out with Seth Rollins in the crowd for some reason.
He
Seth
was
Rollins
scared.
started talking to the WWE universe from the crowd. And then he introduced his wife. His wife came to the ring. His wife, being her heel self, very entertaining, very shitty, as one can say. And
Cause she
then,
the man. You know,
because
you
then,
anytime you are referred to somebody, whether it's your boss or if you get mad at the husband or your mate, the man, they are the crappiest person ever. They are a-hole.
I guess, she then proceeds to, talk down to the crowd and the city and the sports franchises in Chicago, not the Bears. And then
Because that's
she
her husband's favorite team.
right. And then we go along and have CM Punk come out. He confronts Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch continues to get physical with CM Punk, and all that jazz. And then obviously from there, CM Punk says, I don't put my hands on ladies, but I know someone who will. And then the music hits, Light It Up comes on, and here comes his wife skipping out of the entryway, and AJ Lee makes her grand return to the WWE. Um, for those of us who've been watching the WWE for a long period of time, and like Dolores said earlier, if the WWE didn't give the fans what they wanted, I feel like that there would have been
A
this,
riot.
yeah, like a riotous or a revolution type of response to it all or whatever. But I think what the other side of it always is, and this is what folks always need to keep in perspective, is whether or not she ever really wanted to come back to wrestling, right? And for my take, for a very long time, I thought she was going to stay retired, because
I
she.
knew she wanted to come back. She has had interviews because I watch all the stuff she does. She has
Mm,
had interviews where she has made it clear she stood in solidarity with her husband. When
mm,
AEW pitched stuff to her husband was having internal issues at that point. He's
mm,
made it clear, even before the fight, even before stuff, he had a problem of how they ran things. His wife was not going to come back. If I got a problem, why would I bring my wife in there? I see the mess and the drama and the stuff y'all got going on. He has admitted he talked to Cody before. He he knows the inside stuff that people sweep in the closet.
mm,
So his wife was not gonna come back to that. Even when he came to WWE, Sean had explained that they had pitched stuff AJ, and where years ago when he wasn't even wrestling, she would immediately shoot it down. It was more like, well, I know I'm not for sure. I don't think so. And then even recently, I think at a Comic Con or something or some meet and greet, they asked her would she ever wrestle with her husband in a tag match, and she says no. It was on a like a daytime show, talk show thing, and she was like, "I'm never gonna say never because when I've said that before, I've done it." And that was a sign that she just wanted to wrestle. I think the way they treated her husband, she didn't want to do it. She had interested in wrestling when she went to WoW, but WoW was not the greatest company. She wasn't going to waste her return on WoW. So at that point, she was helping the girls, even semi training. Even over the years, we've seen her and CM Punk put out videos where they're wrestling with each other. She wanted to wrestle. She just doing it. And for those people like, well, maybe she wanted to have a family. She's explained over the years she can. She's not that she can't. It's not very healthy for her to do that because she would have to get off all her medicines, which, if people don't know, she has bipolar, and she did not want to do that. So, and plus, she's been being an author, traveling around the world. You have seen, especially over the past week, when people really figured out she was coming back, women showed them sobbing and crying meeting her. She has this effect on people, especially women. I can tell you myself that her story and what she's been through and her being open about her, you know, mental illness and the things she goes through and all the things she's gotten to where she got to affects people where this is more than just wrestling. And so for us to be waiting 10 long years to be like, sis, you just come out here and you look better. Like, you got six pack abs out here skipping down the ring. I can't, your husband didn't even come back looking like he did before. We all were like, okay. And then there was that moment where you wait and you're like, what is she going to do? Because mind you, we just saw Nikki Bella come back and she was kicking the air. So I'm hoping and praying. I'm like, I got faith. I even went up on Workers Wrestling. I'm like, I got faith. She can do this. It's just whether or not WWE is going to book her like they've been booking her. And so to see her come out, skip around the ring, do her normal things was great. I got a little scared afterwards when she held up the title. And I was like, that's a no-no. You don't do that. we already know in wrestling world, you hold the title, you automatically lose it. No matter if you having a tag match or a eventual match down the line, you hold the title. It's like a bad omen. You hold it, you lose it. And so I was like, no, I want to see her, at least win. Maybe her and him win something. But I enjoyed the moment because and then in the end, you see them, mind you, somebody put the side by side. There was a time where his character is supposed to not like her. He don't. He was like, I'm always coming to save you. I can't stand this. And she was just all like, but I love you. And he was like, just get away from me. To see him like adore his wife and just stand there and just be like wide-eyed, happy, and she jump into his arms was just like, okay, we can just end this right here. My heart is like, I'm in tears. I'm jumping up, skipping in my room. I'm happy. We can just end it right here. But I think WrestlePalooza is gonna tell a lot of things. If that match goes really well, they'll pump her. CM Punk did put out a video of her signing her new contract with Triple H. She signed it after she came out. So that also shows that maybe she just wanted to see if the reaction was going to be what it is. And so for them to be gone for as long as they were, he was gone with like 8, 9 years. She gone 10, almost 11 years. To come back and know that people never forgot you is something, it's powerful.
Yeah, no, I thought that the moment was great for her. Like you just said, Dolores. They showed a video clip online that went through the socials and stuff like that of her signing her WWE contract, which from the information that is out there, it seems to be that she signed a full-time, multi-year deal to come back to the WWE. So she'll be on TV on a weekly basis, so folks don't have to worry about her being part-time. in that particular sense. I wonder, um, given her given her hiatus from the ring, the 10 years that she's been off, um, I just hope that the company, walks her through her paces instead of like throwing her into the deep end and
I
stuff
think
like
they're
that.
gonna throw her in the deep end only because Punk has admitted, just like Edge did with Beth on his way back, he worked with Carmelo and Ricky and them, but he also worked with her. They have a ring in their house.
Yeah, yeah. I know that
So
she's been.
he's been training with her. I think she's been out there. She's admitted before she goes out there, but she's also admitted that once her husband left wrestling, she just stopped watching it.
Yeah, so
And
for
so
her.
she's like, until my husband really gets back into it, I'm not watching it. And then I think after he came back, they asked her, is she watching it? She's like, well, I only watch, the company he's in. I don't watch any other company. And so it's like, I think I cannot wait for the moment she and Roxanne go head to head.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of folks, especially the younger generation of ladies watching, are looking forward to. Her and Roxy going one on one. There's a lot of different matches. Obviously, she's been gone for 10 years, so there's a lot of different women, not matches. There's a lot of different women she hasn't faced off with. So for me, my feel is not to throw her in the deep end of like having her have a ton of matches to
Yeah.
start out, especially with all the time she's had off. Like for me, it's let her get her bearings about her. Have her cut her promos to see if she can still do that at a high level, which I'm sure she can, and things of that nature. But the wrestling aspect of it and putting um, contact and impact on your body right away, even though she's been training for on the side for years, because I believe she was a writer or a producer
Wow. Yeah. And she helped.
on Wow, yes, and also on the Heels TV show.
Oh, yeah. I
Uh,
remember that.
so
Yeah.
she did that with Punk for a while. So she's been off and on training in the ring for years. So it's not like she's gonna be rusty and things of that nature. But it's also a different beast between training and being in front of a live crowd and things of that nature. So I hope that everything goes well for her. I think it was a great and a big moment to have AJ Lee come back to the WWE. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of the WWE product currently, I will always commend and praise those superstars that I've been fans of for years. And she was one that stuck out to me when I returned to the wrestling scene in the early 2010s. I believe I took a good between 2003 to 2011. I did not watch wrestling. I didn't watch televised wrestling at all. I went to wrestling shows, but I wasn't keeping up with stuff and things of that nature. And then once I think I came back once CM Punk had his pipe bomb moment, and I was introduced to AJ Lee through WWE TV, and I thought that she was so unique, so different, and she was a girl who liked to wrestle. She wasn't
Yeah.
one of the even though she was a part of the quote unquote divas division, she wasn't your run of the mill diva at that point in time, and so you could definitely notice that about her. And now that the women are in a stronger position as a
Yeah.
whole in the WWE, I think
They
this will
supported her so much the other day that it was like the fact that what made me laugh was when Trinity was like, if she come out on this show, I'm gonna come online and I'm gonna cuss and rant and rave so bad because she's admitted she loves her and wants to wrestle her, and now she comes back and homegirl's like, I'm pregnant, I can't move, I'm stuck, and then the next day she posted like, yeah, Big Jim out there hanging out with them. And like she was bad, and I was like, that is so cute. And Roxanne put out her post with her talking about mommy's home. It also comes on the fact that Riddle had so much nasty stuff to say about Punk that to see them interact and have fun is great. I also like they're not making her this, like towards the end of her run, she was like this super crazy person. twitching and acting funny, that she was able to be her fun-loving self. But when it switch flicks, kind of like if you've seen people who've seen Maki Ito, I love her. She will be cutesy. That's where I get it from, cutesy and all the rest of that stuff. But then she'll whip out a pizza cutter and cut you across the face. That's the kind of the two dynamics of, I can be nice and I can be nasty. Which one do you want to choose? And her just skipping around and then just like just laying her hands and just sitting there and just like having the biggest smile, like I'm gonna tear your butt up. It made me remember why I fell in love with her in the first place. Is because she was just this. It was different. It wasn't like she was taking off her clothes and doing all the rest of that stuff. Even in her punk thing when she did with him, she didn't. He always would be like, "I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't like you like that." And even like somebody posted a clip of the time he walked out of the ring and just left her like goodbye, and then she stopped him and they made out, and she stepped back and he was just like frozen in love, and she was just like, "Well, see you later, bye," and just skipped on down the ring. It was like that's the kind of dynamic I want them to continue to have. But I think he's just so head over heels in love. He can't keep that character up for himself because for him, it's like he skipped around behind her. He held, boasted with her. It was just like that was good to see that they've grown not only as people but characters. Because normally the time you're supposed to stick to your character. I'm supposed to, no matter if I come back 50 years later, I'm supposed to be the same person. We've seen those characters like the Red and Yellow Man and the Ultimate Warrior. They come back and they still want to do the same crap they did in 1955. I can't do it. But ladies and gentlemen, me and J.News, you already know where we're going. We're going to the back, okay? Because after I had a good day with this, I'm gonna tell you about all the fun things I saw this week with the company All Elite Wrestling (AEW). Ladies and gentlemen, AEW, we're gonna do Dynamite. They had a few matches, just like the rest of the companies, except for when we get to the Indies. It was on the third TBS HBO Max. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to come forward. Me and JD was in the corner to let you know that HBO Max is now where you can get the pay per view. If you already have HBO Max, it's $10 discount. So I think you pay what $4.99 or $3.99 instead of the full price if you already have HBO Max to watch the AEW pay per views. If you're like, hey Dolores, you gonna start watching HBO pay per views until it becomes free on HBO Max, that I'm gonna leave that over to the Workhouse Wrestling Network. But ladies and gentlemen, on this show we had for the AEW TBS title match, Mercedes Moné defeating Alex Windsor. We had Mark Briscoe defeating Lance Archer. We had for the AEW World Tag Team title, Brodito defeat the Death Riders of Claudio Castagnoli and Real Yuta. We had the Don Callis family, Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher, along with the Young Bucks of Matt and Nick Jackson, defeat Adam Page and Jet Speed of Kevin Knight and Mike Bailey, along with Kenny Omega. I think this was his write-off song. J.News, did you see this and what did you think?
Yeah, I saw Dynamite on Wednesday. Another solid episode of AEW Dynamite. I thought that Mercedes and Alex Windsor, they've got great chemistry. They showed that the last time they had a match for the team. I think this is Alex Windsor's second time vying for the TBS Championship. So the first time they had a match, I thought it was great. No, BS. They faced off for the Rev Pro Women's Championship back when Alex was still at Rev Pro. That match was excellent. This match was excellent. Another great showing for Alex Windsor here in defeat. And Mercedes Moné continues to be one of the biggest women stars on the AEW roster. Mark Briscoe came out to an impromptu match between him and Lance Archer. I felt like that was hastily put together. Like it came together real quick because Mark Briscoe came out cutting a promo and stuff like that, wanting to challenge somebody from the Don Callis family because he wants a shot at Kyle Fletcher's TNT championship. Then from there, he did not get Kyle, but he got Lance. So he defeated Lance in order for Mark to get a shot at uh, at Kyle. They put another hurdle in front of Mark Briscoe to have a match on Saturday on Collision with Konosuke Takeshita. He then had to go through Takeshita in order to get to get a TNT title shot against Kyle. We'll get there when we get to Collision. The AEW World Tag Team match was great. I think that what they've done with Brodito has been nothing short of fantastic so far. I thought that this match between them and the Death Riders was really, really good. Claudio was in his bag. So it's always good to see Swiss do his thing. He was gone for a couple of weeks due to time off he had requested and things of that nature, but it's always good to see him come back and kill it. Wheeler really stepping into this character of his that he's developed with the Death Riders. I think this has been a real good thing for him with all the heat that he's been able to develop with the fan base. So I think that's just a net positive for Wheeler when it comes to the with him and his relationship with the AEW fan base. I think Marina Shafir is fantastic. I think they just need her to do. I think they need her to do more stuff in ring with AEW. Hopefully, she gets that opportunity within an immediate time frame. Hopefully, sometime soon. And I think I think that's going to be the case because we will be. I think there's going to be some reshuffling with the members of the Death Riders coming soon. So we'll see as to how all that ends up. The Don Callis family, Josh Alexander, Kyle Fletcher, along with the Young Bucks defeating Adam Page, Jet Speed, and Kenny Omega. Like Delores said, this set up Kenny Omega being written off of TV for a while because Kenny has some important doctor's appointments that he has to tend to, and he's also getting his Japanese visa situation getting straightened out. So there's that. So good luck to Kenny on everything. Hopefully everything works out with his yearly checkup at post surgery and whatever other maintenance he has to do with his body and things of that nature. So props to Kenny, and hopefully he comes back even better than what he did last time post surgery. We did see highlighted in this 8-man all-star tag Kyle Fletcher and Adam Page. It seems like that's where we're walking towards, and I will get further into that on when we get to Collision. I thought it best. This is my personal opinion. My personal opinion was I felt like they probably should have gone with Josh Alexander versus Hanger at all out instead of this week's episode of Dynamite. But we're gonna get that coming, and we'll build on that when we talk about Collision. But another solid show for AEW Dynamite. And they haven't missed so far since the earlier part of the year, and I think they're on a good roll. And now that they have several of their stars, several of the major stars out with injury, that being Swerve Strickland, Will Ospreay, now Kenny Omega out, no Jay White, obviously still no Keith Lee, and there's gonna have to be other folks who are gonna have to step up. I feel like the design is not only for Kyle Fletcher to step up, but also the design is for the women's division to step up. Not only do we have 2 women's matches coming up at this week's episode of Dynamite, we also have 2 big women's matches at All Out. So keep an eye on the women's division being something that's going to be hurled into the forefront for AEW. They have too much talent there not to use it and not to be spotlighted. So that's something I feel like folks should keep their eyes on going forward with AEW.
Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on to the next show because we're going to the back. We're going to go over to Ring of Honor ROH. It was Honor Club 132. You can watch it on ROHWrestling.com or the app. It was on the 4th. We had a non-title match. Athena defeated Dame. I can never get her name right. Damie. I think that's how you pronounce it. We had the Swirl. Yes, they call themselves the Swirl, ladies and gentlemen. Talked about this before. Blake Christian and Lee Johnson defeated Joe Alonzo and Thomas Heen. 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I want to point out that was a short. Some of these matches shouldn't happen if they did short. And we'll talk about another one on the show. Willa Yuta defeated John Silver. We had a 2-on-1 handicap match where Lance Archer defeated Adam King and Marcus King in 1 minute and 5 seconds. Unnecessary match. Spanish announced Project Angelico and Serpentico defeated Marino Ten. You all listen to me. We about to say this again. Look at me. Stop with these stupid, not stupid. Stop with these names. Okay, make it simple. What happened to the simple names we had back in the day? Okay, now y'all doing these extravagant names, these long title matches for the names. We have an unnecessary. I don't know if you watch this J.News, but unnecessary short matches for somebody you ain't gonna never build up. Come on now, you making him look like a monster for what? To get into a big name match and lose? Come on now, y'all. I'm losing my temper. Let's keep going. Philly and Philly Collins, we had Katsuri Shibata defeat Jordan Oliver. Good match. And the Conglomeration Hologram and Tomohiro Ishii defeated the premier athletes Ari Daivari and Tony Nese. J.News, did you see this? And what did you think about this?
The ROH Honor Club episode I didn't watch. I watched the episode that they put on YouTube, which is a different episode altogether. Yeah. But what I wanted to say was shout out and congratulations to Athena this week as she finally surpassed the 1,000 days as the ROH Women's Champion. Shout outs to Athena Palmer for that, man. She's been fantastic for ROH, AEW, and women's wrestling overall since she got into it. I thought it hilarious that Blake Christian and Lee Johnson decided to license and get the authentication for the swirl. These two boys, they get it, and I think it's great, and I think that they'll be around AEW for a while. And mind you, the boys have been both on ROH and AEW TV, so they've been getting a lot of exposure as of late. So good on them for that. Wheeler Yuta, strong match here with John Silver. At the end of the day, you know, it's always interesting to see John Silver in matches. When I first saw John Silver here in the East Coast in the Indies, I was like, he's such a weird dude to have on your television sets, and he can be entertaining, and he wrestles really well, to be quite honest.
Yeah, he's just like a short, like, you remember the it's not funny and it's so wrong, so don't take it. John Silver, I love you. But you remember those wrestling dolls we had back in the day? They were like short, but like they were like, that's how he is.
Yeah. He's definitely a life-size wrestling buddy. So there's that of it. But John Silver is super entertaining and stuff like that. I've always felt that John Silver and Alex Reynolds should have had a good tag run on AEW TV, but then when they were shifted over to ROH, people just kind of go over there to disappear in obscurity unless you're doing something that stands out like Athena was doing on ROH. But we'll see. But good match for Utes and John Silver there. The 2-on-1 handicap match for Lance Archer. It's basically very old school booking. Lance Archer being the big monster in the territory, quote unquote, and he takes on two very slender gentlemen, and he kills them both with double choke slams, and it's a wrap. So there's that. Always a fan of the Spanish announced project of Angelico and Serpentico doing their thing. So that's always cool. I wanted to also. Obviously, this is my first time back in about 2 or 3 weeks. Shout out to Jordan Oliver for getting his chance at proving himself over on ROH/AEW TV. This is he's had 3 consecutive matches in a row. I think Shibata, the Beast Mortos, and I think he also had a match. I forget what his third match is, but it'll be coming up soon. Here in during this week, he's had a good go of it now since AEW has been doing their residency at the 2300 Arena. So it's been a good showcase for Jordan Oliver. I've been waiting for this for him ever since Nick Wayne joined AEW all those years
He
ago.
should have came with Nick. Nick
Yeah,
by himself, I have no interest in. Nick and Jordan together, I have very much interest in. They need to put them back together. Bring them back together.
yeah. I hope
Also,
that.
you can always do the cheap storyline that he ends up like falling in love with his mom or something, and then they fight each
Oh man,
other.
we can't be doing the American
I
Pie thing.
mean, if he can call a Christian daddy, I'm assuming, he had a daddy he loved. You remember we first met him, he was fighting for the honor of his daddy. Now he calling his other man daddy. I'm just saying, his friend could look like his mom and just be like, like a Hogan Savage moment, or maybe he's thinking that he's hitting on his mom or something. Like I don't know. He could
I,
become, and then they break up and start fighting each other.
I feel what we're heading towards, and my hope is that AEW and Tony Khan see the talent in Jordan Oliver, eventually sign him to a deal, and that we eventually get once we get Nick Wayne back from injury, Jordan Oliver can start to pick up some wins on ROH Honor Club and on the YouTube channel, and that can lead to a Jordan Oliver versus Nick Wayne match for that ROH TV championship down the road. That is my hope for those two, because they tear it up together as a tag team and one-on-one with one another. So that's just a future hope for me there. But good on Jordan Oliver for getting the exposure that he's been getting lately with AEW/ROH and the conglomeration, man. It ain't gonna be the same without Big Tom, but Big Tom's going back to Japan this week. And the conglomeration is going through a shift right now. But they were able.
They've been working the crap out of my big boy, Big Tom out there. He been working. He been out here, there, everywhere. They've been working the crap out of him. I'm like, hey, you need to go home and rest where you can do a little light work.
Yeah, Big Tom's gonna go back to Japan for a while. Big Tom, one of the few New Japan stars that also has an AEW contract that most people probably aren't aware of. And there's also another New Japan talent that has an AEW contract that people don't want to admit to. And he gets unnecessary hate online for, but it is what it is. Gabe Kidd is Gabe Kidd. And I love me, the Madman. But the conglomeration, Hologram and Tomohiro Ishii, they defeated the premier athletes of Arya Daivari and Tony Nese. Now, Delores, correct me if I'm wrong. This wasn't the match where the newest member of the premier athletes debuted, right? It was on the YouTube show where they debuted the tall girl.
I think it was on the YouTube show that it premiered.
Yeah.
Also, for those, when we get to it, last week we talked about Death Before Dishonor. It's on YouTube on their channel because they had glitches, so they put it fully on YouTube. So you all can watch it there, which I think is good marketing because that's what WWE is doing with AAA. Yeah. And also Maple Leaf Wrestling is now on YouTube. The show that they were supposed to have, it'll be on. I couldn't find it. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to do the watch along? So we'll talk about it. When we get to it, I won't do any of the matches that are listed. We'll skip over that part. But it'll come on the 11th on the YouTube channel. So they'll start be doing more on their YouTube channel.
All right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go way back in the playback. We're going to go on to AEW Collision, which was yesterday on the 6th, TNT HBO Max. It was AEW Collision 109. John Moxley defeated Daniel Garcia. FTR, which is Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood, defeated Adam Priest and Tommy Billington. Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Mina Shirakawa, and Tony Storm defeated Megan Bain and the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Thekla. We had Konosuke Takeshita defeat Mark Briscoe. J.News, I know you watched this.
Yeah,
what did you think about it?
I thought this was probably the best episode of Collision in quite some time, and Collision's been solid for months on end. So tremendous match between John Moxley and Daniel Garcia, finally giving the fans something to chew on when it comes to Daniel Garcia, because now we don't necessarily know which way Danny will be going after his second consecutive defeat from Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley winning via roll up again, but this was a different type of story being told in the ring between Jon Moxley and Daniel Garcia to start off the show. People who say and who give Jon Moxley criticism about his wrestling style or lack thereof don't know Jon Moxley, man. Jon Moxley just put on a clinic with Daniel Garcia in that ring to start this show. It was about 20 minutes, I think, that they got to start the show. And it ended in Daniel Garcia getting being defeated again via roll up. Still wasn't able to get that win over Jon Moxley. Then Daniel Garcia was to not cut a promo, but Tony Schiavone came out after Danny lost the match to ringside. Tony had the mic in hand. He told Danny, another tough loss, but a great outing for you. Where does this leave you? And then Danny cut another impassioned promo, but basically leaving people in limbo, leaving the fans in limbo, basically saying that, yeah, I'm good, but good is no longer good enough. So now it's a wait and see thing as to where we will see Daniel Garcia in the future. Will Daniel Garcia eventually join the Death Riders? Because it seems like Jon Moxley over the last several weeks, Jon Moxley and Marina Shafir have been in Daniel Garcia's ear, coaching him up really, instead of beating him down. And we saw some of that coaching up take effect in his matches against Jon Moxley, but he still wasn't able to get those wins. So it seems like we're finally getting to what I've always felt was the nooks and crannies of the Death Rider story, which is really the Death Riders wanting the newer generation or the younger wrestlers of AEW to have more of an aggressive edge to them when they go into their matches, to be more balls to the wall and not be so contrived and tense in the ring, and to say that to use a lack of a better term. So I think that it's not Jon Moxley trying to take AEW a hostage. It's more of Jon Moxley trying to inspire a new attitude in the younger generation of wrestlers in AEW. That's what I think the Death Riders are there to do, regardless of what we've already seen from them, right? So there's that part of it. The tag match with Stokely with FTR versus Adam Priest and Tommy Billington. Great to see Tommy back on AEW TV. I didn't necessarily know where they were going to go with this tag match between Tommy Billington and Adam Priest. I thought, because Tommy Billington is more of a disciple of FTR, I thought that they were going to set up Tommy Billington turning on Adam Priest by the end of this match, but that didn't happen. But it was a great tag match, another great showing for Adam Priest on AEW TV. It seems like AEW talent scouts have taken a liking to Adam Priest, and FTR is willing to work with some of the other younger talent in order to bolster their stock, especially on TV. So great on FTR. They've always been willing to do that. So a fantastic tag match in that estimation. The ladies' 8-way all-star tag was a tremendous amount of fun. Everybody got their shit in, which is expected. And we saw some great tag team maneuverability between Chris Statlander and Harley Cameron. So they're coming along together as a tag team, even though they don't have a name yet. Mina and Tony have always stood out. The Megasis was there by herself. No, there was nobody allowed ringside, so Penelope wasn't out there this time around. The ladies of the Triangle of Madness, they're putting themselves together as a trio, working like a well-oiled machine. But based out of all of this, even though the face women's team defeated the heels, after all was said and done, Toni Storm got nuts, and she basically challenged 4 of the ladies involved in this match for a shot for her AEW Women's Championship. So at All Out, it's going to be Toni Storm versus Chris Statlander versus Thekla. Thekla Stat, Tony, and why am I forgetting? And Jamie Hayter, because Jamie Hayter did come out for the
Yeah.
save after the match was over because they were getting beat down by the girls from the Triangle of Madness and stuff like that, and they were because they took out Mina and Harley for a bit. So the Triangle of Madness girls were able to take shots at Tony and Mina Shirakawa, and then Jamie Hayter came out post match to run in for the save. Tony Storm and Jamie Hayter do have their history together. So Tony Storm cut a impassioned yet nutty Tony Storm promo to then challenge those three girls to a 4-way women's match at All Out. So I'll be looking forward to that. We also had a bunch of different promos being cut in the back during Collision. One that stood out to me the most was the one that Big Bill and Brian Keith cut. Basically, Big Bill challenging what seems to be a returning Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston should be returning sometime soon, so we will see how that all shapes out. Another backstage promo that stood out to me as well was one that Jon Moxley cut after his match with Daniel Garcia, basically answering Darby Allin's challenge to Jon Moxley. So Jon Moxley and Darby Allin are going to go one-on-one at All Out in a coffin match. So we'll be seeing that happen. There was another backstage promo with the boys from the Bang Bang Gang. So now we're taking into effect and into toll now Juice Robinson's more serious side. They have been faltering. They've been just loss after loss after loss, and they had a backstage promo with Lexi, and it seems that Juice has now retired Card Blade. They have now retired Colton Board at the end of the day. And they will be getting a little bit more serious. There were also cut package video packages shown throughout the night for Ace Austin. He'll be not that he hasn't debuted for AEW, he has, but they're cutting promo packages for him and video packages for him to debut him. It does seem like they're teasing Ace Austin being a member of the Bang Bang Gang, but we're not necessarily sure yet. So we'll see how that comes up. And also the other video package of this supposed hologram clone. For folks who don't know, there has been a lot of news that's come out in the last week or so. Mexican wrestler Ares, Mexican wrestler Ares, and also he's heavily involved in the indies. If folks don't know, a lot of the GCW shows, the GCW shows that Dolores loves so much, Ares tagged a lot with Gringo Loco. Ares and Hologram, who Hologram's original Mexican luchador name, why is he escaping me right now? Aramis. They were a tag team for a long time, and they were signed to AAA. But then when Aramis signed to AEW as Hologram, Ares was still on the indies. Ares was supposedly, according to reports, he was supposedly offered a WWE contract. He then took that contract because he was also negotiating with AEW. He took that contract back to Tony Khan. Tony Khan said, "Here's more money. What you want to do?" And Ares said, "All right, cool. I'll take the money." What you want me to do? So
I was hurt, but I don't blame him. Also, I think while you were gone, we had that was it the Beast Mortos lawsuit that he filed?
Yes. With
the
Black Forest thing. Yeah. I think they're doing that in kayfabe per se, but I think, like, genuinely, I think that the guy who is the Beast Mortos was genuinely upset with that necessarily. But AAA, like WWE, they own the names of certain characters, which is why, for folks who don't understand, which is why when Penta left Lucha Underground and he went to go wrestle with TNA, he had to change his name to Penta L00M, and then it was the whole thing because AAA owned the name. With that being said, Dolores does have a point.
It's been like 50 versions.
Yeah.
Of Total's, and he acts like he's the main owner of it. I was like, it was a Total's before you, and it was a Total's after you.
That's right. That's right. That's
You
right.
can't do anything. If that's the case, we need to go back like 5 or 6 Taurus's and they sue all you all.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is the
But
problem. And the
like I
fact that
said,
they continue to let you use this gimmick even after you left was a miracle in itself. And now you rocking the boat. Stop it.
yeah, I think he was doing it in fun. I think they were doing that in kayfabe, but it is what it is there with that. But yeah, Arez is going to be this hologram clone, basically. So we'll be seeing a face hologram and a heel hologram in the coming weeks and months. So we'll see him basically
I'm like,
battling
you
himself.
gonna take Alvarez and turn him into that was what really made me mad. I was like, out of all the stuff I've seen him doing GCW, all the death defying,
Mhm.
shocking, and amazing stuff I've seen him do. This is how y'all choose to use him.
Yeah.
Y'all can put him in stuff like I understand y'all have a lot of hardcore matches. Okay, now
Mhm.
y'all have some hardcore matches. This is one that you can take, and I think he is on Darby Allin level where he don't give a F. You can put him out there, he do some spectacular, death-defying stuff, and this is what you want him to be a clone to somebody.
Yeah, because it could, so here's the thing, right? I think this is a and Tony TK, forgive me, brother, forgive me for saying this, but I must say this is going to be AEW's take on El Grande Americano, right? So
That's the crazy. That's the craziness in it. That's the craziness in it. Is that
so
also WWE? I'm gonna get on your butt too. How is Grande Americano now? We done had like 5 versions of him. I need you to. I understand one got hurt. You may have a second, but we don't went to the third, the fourth, the fifth, sixth in the background, 7 over here. I need y'all. You know what I need? I need a Grande Americano, all of them to get together and do the Spider-Man meme where they pointed at you.
I
That's
think
what I need.
we're eventually going to get there. I've been saying that myself. I think, but eventually we're going to get there. But I think that it's Tony. This is TK's idea of making sure that there is lucha representation on the show. One, if folks haven't noticed, because we didn't touch on the YouTube episode of ROH, if folks didn't know or weren't aware, it seems that LFI has moved over to ROH for a bit. They're working with Sammy Guevara now, and Sammy Guevara is a part of LFI. And for folks who don't know, I'm just not the biggest Sammy Guevara fan. So at the end of the day, I think that's just a
I don't
downgrade
think
for
nobody
LFI.
really is except for him and his wife. And maybe his
So
kid.
there's that. Just I'm not a fan of Sammy Guevara, the wrestler. You know, the dude, the person I don't know. So it
No,
is what
I'm
it
not a
is.
fan of the person or the wrestler. The fact that you call another grown man, and I mean grown man, not like he's a child, he's a grown man, to holler off and slap you, that lets me know. Because I mean, I'm not gonna say I did, okay? Allegedly, we're gonna say the word allegedly. I might have slapped a few people. You have to get that angry. Someone has to push you to that edge, to just cut back and pow, just slap you. And from what I heard, allegedly slap the dog, piss out your mouth. Listen, you have to be such an annoying, aggravating, hateful, low
Oh, you're
down
talking
person
about the
to
Andrade
make me get
incident,
mad.
the
You have to
supposed
make
the supposed Andrade incident. Yeah. I forgot about
yeah,
that. I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot.
yes. And then you get like mushed by Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Look, at the end of the
Like
day,
you done got too many altercations, and I have seen you on your channel be a little a-holish, and that was just not in character. I'm telling you, at a certain point, I'm not saying you're a-hole. I just say you have the tendencies, and for my safety, and when I mean my safety, for me not to go to jail, I know that your character is not something I want to watch. Okay, you do
that's
stupid stuff, you say stupid stuff, you've done stupid stuff. Like it's not even past you and your ex fiance. It's past that. It's just that you've just done and said stupid stuff. Now I did enjoy you teaming with Dustin Rose. That was cute.
That worked for him. I think. I feel that that was working for him. But
I think they need to bring back Fuego del Sol. Okay, not
well,
Fuego del, not Fuego del
well,
Sol the way he was, but the way he is now.
right. Because
Yeah.
KJ is tearing it up on the Indies right now.
Yes,
So
he is. He really is.
maybe you know what I'm saying, because KJ's new heel character might work as a good opposition to Sammy Guevara if they wanted to go that route. But that's a good thought. That's a good thought, Dolores. That could be something that the AEW could tap into if they wanted to. But
I'm
for all
afraid
intents
they'll
and
put
purposes,
him back with Chris Jericho. That's
yeah,
my nightmare.
let's not go there. But I just wanted to mention that it seems like LFI has moved over to ROH because they are the ROH 6-man tag team champions currently.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy Guevara did turn on the Von Erichs. So there's
He
that. So
should
they
have
have
been turned on them. He should have been turned on them. No
yeah, but
offense to them,
they have a built-in
but they
feud
they
there.
they not going nowhere, and not gonna be doing too much.
Yeah, they
We
have a
not-
built-in.
like I have a pop for nostalgia wrestling sometimes. Like if it's out of the blue, like pow, oh, it's happening, and it has to be certain people. Listen, I used to. We all heard the story. I used to be a Goldberg fan. Do not do this, but I used to. I imitated his entrance one time, where you where you kick the door open and you bow. I did that. Okay, J.News did not work out for me. I was lightheaded and about to fall out. And I'm assuming that's what happens every time he wrestles. Because if he really did that in real life, ain't no sense left after you bust your head like that. Uh, I loved him. That I had a gold. That's the only really wrestle shirt I had. Goldberg. When they told me he was wrestling against Gunther, I said, please wrap it up. I don't want to see it. Certain nostalgia wrestling, I'm cool with. But the fact that we trying to relive the days probably before I was born, when the Von Erichs was the SHIT sugar honey iced tea, it's not working for me. It's
I
not
mean,
working.
the boys are still relatively young in the business, should I say? That's just something that's going to take time. At the end of the day, I feel like, they need their reps, they need more exposure and things of that nature. And hopefully they're able to carve out solid careers for themselves. But it's a different time, right? Like basically what you're intimating, Dolores. It's a different time. The Von Erichs have been out of the limelight, out of the pro wrestling limelight for years, unfortunately due to tragic circumstances. And these young men had to grow up. These young men were born in the 90s. They're Kevin's sons at the end of the day. So they're a new generation of Von Erich. And hopefully, with work and time and exposure, they can get better and they can be solid professional wrestlers
And
and
that's what I also fear is that the wrestling business, when you see tragedies like that, or even the Hart family, it rolls. It doesn't stop. The ball starts at the top of the hill and it just rolls and it rolls. And something happens every generation. And it's like at a certain point, I I would not hope that he would encourage his sons to do this or even do this under Von Erich's name. I think it should have just been they find their way, and then if they get a little higher in the ranks, then oh, okay, the Von Erichs, once they've gotten a stable foundation. But literally, I think they did a couple of GCW events and something else I saw them on, and then they were on AEW.
No,
So they
because
really didn't get that traction under their feet to learn and do whatever they need to be them own individual selves before they became the Von Erichs.
they were on MLW for over a year as well. So they're not necessarily brand new, but they're still young in the business.
Yeah.
They, from my understanding of it all, their dad was not very keen to them wrestling, but they wanted to do it. So they asked permission. Obviously, their dad's the lone brother left, and he gave them their blessing, and he did his best. Their dad, Kevin Von Erich, did his best to help train them and help them adjust to the pro wrestling landscape and scene. But if people want to be fair, Kevin Von Erich is from a bygone era of professional wrestling. He
Yeah.
was really a star in the late 70s and in the 80s. Kevin Von Erich stopped wrestling in the 90s. So
And
it's a
it's like
different.
it's certain. I would say, for my opinion, there are
Mhm.
certain traits that pass down to different things.
Sure.
And back in the day, it was not even as harsh as it is nowadays. I mean, today you got online, they rip you to shreds. You
Right.
can't
Right.
turn around on your
Mhm.
phone, on your TV, and they talking bad about you. But at a certain point, I would be more wary of that. Also, what was her name? Lacey? Lacey, the Lacey was there, what was her name? Lacey Von Erich?
Who?
The girl that wrestled.
Oh, I have no idea.
I think she did it in WoW, and I think she was in TNA for a little bit. I think her name was Lacey. She
I
was
don't know.
like somebody's child, and it was bad. It was bad. Like she literally, she talks. I think in the last interview I saw, talked about mentally struggling horribly
Hmm.
and having to have, and then turn into vices and different things. And she just really took, and so that's when I thought, okay, if you just track it down throughout the years, this has been an issue with all of them.
Yeah, but
And
the boys themselves don't have those issues, thankfully. Like I said, they're just young in the business at the end of the day. And like I said, the business is different from when their dad was in the business. So it's
yeah,
just really more of them continuing to adapt, continuing to grow, continuing to learn and evolve in the current pro wrestling landscape. It's never going to be like it once was for their family because the territory days are over. So hopefully those boys will carve out a good path for themselves in the pro wrestling business, and we'll be able to see them for years to come in the business. But to end the
oh
collision
yeah,
bit,
that was her name, Lacey Von Erich, and she was the daughter of Carrie.
interesting.
Yeah,
Okay,
and she did. I remember thinking I saw her in her WoW, but I know I saw her in TNA and maybe somewhere else. I might have seen her in WWE for a short period of time, but she tried to do it, and
hmm.
she
Yeah, well,
and she became popular because they were like, "Oh, Von Erich, she was a girl," and they were just like, "Oh, we've normally seen boys, but we never seen girls," and so she was trying to break out. And recently, I've seen some videos where she's like at these meet and greet conferences, and
hmm.
she runs up on people, says the wildest stuff, and I'm like, she just seems like not in the right place. I'm hoping she is, but if not, yeah, I pray she gets better. But because that's the tragic story of a family.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But to round out the collision part here, Takeshita took on Mark Briscoe. Fantastic match between Briscoe and Takeshita. They have great chemistry. They've had great chemistry since they first locked horns over a year and a half ago on AEW TV, and that continues here. But Takeshita won this by nefarious means, not brought onto by himself or the Don Callis family. MJF came out during this match. According to what was said on commentary, MJF skipped his honeymoon because he did get married a couple of days ago to Alicia Atoot. Congratulations to them. Uh, and
They
he
deserve
came
each
out.
they
He came
deserve each other at this point. They were like, we don't fought to stay together.
Yeah, so they MJF came out. He interfered in the match and hit Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe, Takeshita not necessarily noticing MJF's interference, took advantage of a down Mark Briscoe. Got the pin there. MJF did the lay down head hands behind the head pose that the hanger did not too long ago and stuff like that. After the bell rang, MJF came into the ring. He continued to beat down Mark Briscoe. Then Takeshita took it upon himself to put hands on MJF, ripped MJF off of Mark Briscoe, and then we saw a heated face-off between Konosuke Takeshita and MJF. Don Callis then separated the two men before things got physical. So it does seem that we continue to have the tease here that Konosuke Takeshita will eventually be leaving the Don Callis family and will be becoming a baby face in the AEW landscape, which I think is necessary for him at the end of the day, especially with the way he wrestles and how the fans
Yeah,
gravitate.
and plus fans love him. At a
Yeah,
certain point, when you're not getting booed and you're getting cheered, you just got to go with the flow.
yeah, they're working themselves towards a Takeshita versus uh, Kazuchika Okada match, anyways, and so you can't have two alphas in part of the same team. So we'll see how that all boils down. But it seems after the match was over and when security came out to separate Mark Briscoe and MJF, they had already taken Takeshita to the back. MJF got on the mic and he basically challenged Mark Briscoe to a match, some sort of a stipulation match. And he told Mark Briscoe, you can name the stipulation. Mark Briscoe did not name the stipulation. He will name the stipulation probably this week on either Dynamite or Collision, but I'm sure it'll be some sort of a hardcore match. They've been angling to end this feud for a while between Briscoe and MJF, and this was a good way to get that done. So we'll go from there. And then we also learned that due to this particular match between MJF and Mark Briscoe at All Out, that we will be Kyle Fletcher came in and did a promo at the middle of the show with Don Callis, and Kyle Fletcher challenged AEW men's world champion Adam Page to a match. So it will be Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman Adam Page at All Out as well. And we shall see how that all breaks down. But that was Collision, probably the best episode of Collision I've seen in quite some time, and more solid AEW TV going forward. So All Out is shaping up to be quite the card, and we'll see how it all breaks down on Saturday, September 20th, which is going to be an entire day's worth of pro wrestling for folks to watch.
No, Jesus, no, no. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go up to the back. J.News, before I get to this next slide, did you watch TNA?
I did not know, man.
I wouldn't tell you to either. TNA wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. I sacrificed my life so you wouldn't have to. 99 video packages of promos, 3 matches. Frankie Kazarian defeated Matt Cardona. TNA Knockouts World Title #1 contendership triple threat match. Indy Hartwell defeated Danny Luna and Jody Threat. And for the mixed 6-man tag match, we had Mara Sade and the Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy, defeat the Order of 4, which is John Hotch, John Schuyler, and Tasha Steele. Ladies and gentlemen, we can just skip on right back there because I ain't got nothing good to say. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into my favorite show of the weekend. One of my favorite shows. This is top. I think the one after this will be close second. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going on to House of Glory. HOG Philadelphia. Ladies and gentlemen, we had, listen, last week, y'all heard me. Y'all, listen, look at me right here. Y'all heard my cries. I said, sweet baby Jesus, if you can do it for me, Jesus, please allow this to happen for me. And you know what he heard, ladies and gentlemen? He heard my cry. Because, ladies and gentlemen, for the HOG Crown Jewel title match, Zilla Fatu is your new champion by defeating Bully Ray. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I ain't got to see Bully. Carlos Ramirez defeated Angel Jaquez. That's more like a J. And Antonio Ricks. You know, again, I'm gonna tell y'all, not y'all new, but y'all wrestlers, you ain't got to make it complicated. If I listen, I struggle every day to fight for my life to say y'all names, okay? And I hear it. And this morning I listened to it 3 times. J.News and still ain't got it right. And J. Doze, Jody Ora, and Raheem Royal. For the HOG Cruiserweight title match, Darian Richardson retained his title, defeating Joey Silva. For the HOG Tag Team title match, we had the main event, Jay Lyons and Midas Black defeat uh Buster and every time I say it, it's that Buster and the Brain, Alex Price and Jordan Oliver. We have Shotzi Blackheart defeating Priscilla Kelly for the HOG heavyweight title slash Progress World title match. We had man like Doris, who is the Progress champion, defeat Charles Mason, the HOG champion, by DQ. So everybody kept their titles. Cedric Alexander in a good match that made me want to cry. Defeated Amazing Red. Now can't tell you all. I think a year ago, in the last year, beginning of this year, I told you all Amazing Red told me he was on a retirement tour. I don't see the reason why he need to retire because every match I see is a banger. Make me mad that every time I think about him having to retire. Did you see this, J.News?
I did not. I did see the results posted online. I saw some video clips of some of the matches and things of that nature. The point you just made about Amazing Red continuing to have amazing, great matches, Dolores. I mean, that's what he's been doing for the last 25 years of his career.
He needs to get signed. I need to email Triple H or send a kite or
So
a drone or something for him.
you know
Something.
he's the head.
AEW, somebody pick him up. Somebody.
He's the head trainer. Used to be the owner of HOG. That is now Percy Miller's company. At the end of the day, for those who don't know who Percy Miller is, you know what I'm saying. That's the one and only Master P. So there's that of it. Shouts.
I didn't do the whole thing. I tried to be polite, but in the hood in me is just make them say, "Oh."
Right.
No.
I remember when Cody did that shit. I was like, man, listen. But shouts to man like Doris, man. Doris has been killing it on the indies for years.
He has. I just need him to stop that damn entrance he do.
Nah, man, that's that. If he don't have the rapping interest, it ain't Doris, man. It's like
Doris. When I say one, you say two. And I'm like, stop it. Just stop it.
That's Doris.
The thing I hate J.News is that he'll do it all the way around the ring, get in the ring, and I'm gonna do the Jey Uso rewind. Him like, okay, again. When I was done, man, I'm like,
yeah, man, you know, and all that happens with a drill beat in the background. You know what I'm saying? That's Doris for you, you know. But there's that. Glad to see that Doris is having his moment as the Progress champion and things of that nature. So shouts to Doris there. Shouts to Shotzi and Priscilla for putting on a match of a certain caliber here. These two young ladies are very unique in their styles. They also have very unique looks to them. And they're also very friendly with one another. So I expected this match to go the way that it did from the stuff that I saw. And Shotzi continues to vie for that HOG Women's Championship, which is currently held by Indy Hartwell. But Indy Hartwell was nowhere to be found at the HOG Philly show. Conspicuous by her absence, I see.
But also, Shotzi last week had helped to win another title.
That's right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go way to the back. We're gonna go on to the next show that I love this weekend. From Wrestling Revolver, it was Clean Slate, ladies and gentlemen. And after I saw this show, I was like, beam me up, Scotty. I'm starting to see spaceships on Bankhead. And if you all know, I'm from Georgia. If you don't know what that is, wait a minute. Somebody tried to explain spaceships on Bankhead. I just want to clarify. If you're not from Georgia, you don't understand. Bankhead is where the J's are. And if you don't know what a J is, go find it out from a hood specialist. And so if you are a J, you would see spaceships on Bankhead. That's where the song comes from. Ladies and gentlemen, you go over to why is HOG Philly up there? Oh no. I'll tell you about it though. Clean slate, we had TNA International title match, Steve Macklin defeat Damian Chambers. JJ Garrett defeated Ryan Clancy. Joe Alonzo, Johnny Junie Underwood, and Tyre Dye, which is KJ Reynolds and Ryan Mathis, defeated my favorite name of a team, Alpha Sigma Sigma. And because it's been way past 7 minutes, I'm just gonna say Alpha Sigma Sigma. If you take each word at the beginning of Alpha Sigma Sigma, it'll explain why they lose all the time because they ass. Okay. Britt Oakley, Dick Myers, and KJ Jacobs along with BDE. We had a three-way dance. Alan Angels defeated Crash Jackson and Jake Chris. We had a title change, ladies and gentlemen, as for the Revolver Tag Team title match, where the Latinos Most Wanted, Coda Hernandez and Sabian Gage, defeated the Macabre of Dreadnought and Cruel. We had for the Revolver Remix title match, AJ Francis kept his title against Chris Danger. For the TNA X Division title four-way match, Leon Slater defeated Dante Leon, Man Like the Reese, and Marcus Matthews. Yes, Man Like the Reese wrestled more than once this weekend. For the Revolver title match, Myron Reed kept his championship by defeating Steve Macklin. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time is it? What time is it? It's time for a preview, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to start off with New Japan Pro Wrestling. And we're going to start off with Yuji Nagai produced Blue Justice, okay?
Yeah, it was Blue Justice 16 took place this morning. We had the celebration of Blue Justice himself, Yuji Nagata. We started the show off. It was matches of Masatori Yasuda and Zayn J versus Tatsuya Matsumoto and Tiger Mask. Katsuyori Murashima, along with Oleg Bolton and Shomakato, took on House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil. Tai Chi, Taka Michinoku, and Tomoaki Hanma. They went up against Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. Those brothers, Daiki Nagai, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi of the Unaffiliated, along with Yota Tsuji, went up against Bullet Club War Dog members David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Gato, and Taiji Ishimori. Gabe Kidd was written off of AEW TV for the time being because he is now back in Japan. El Desperado, Reisuke Taguchi, Shota Umino, and Yu Uemura went up against Master Wato, Togi Makabe Toriano, and Yo. House of Torture members Doki, Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi went up against TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. And then to end the night, the main event of the Blue Justice 16 event, it would be the great Yuji Nagata versus the one and only ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the president himself, Hiroshi Tanahashi. And now we're on the road to Destruction 2025 for New Japan. This happens on the 9th, which is on Tuesday. Opening bouts between the Young Lions, Zayn J versus Tatsuya Matsumoto, Shomakato versus Masatori Yasuda. We'll then have Katsuyori Murashima along with Oleg Bolton and Yuri Uemura going up against House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil. Tai Chi, Taka Michinoku, and Tomoaki Hanma will go up against Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. Daiki Nagai, Hiromu Takahashi, Shingo Takagi, and Yota Tsuji will go up against Bullet Club War Dog members David Finlay, Gabe Kidd, Gato Matachi Ishimori. El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Shota Umino will go up against Master Wato, Togi Makabe Toriano, and Yo. House of Torture members Doki, Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi will go up against TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why, but they had it listed on Cage Match as they been running the same thing back the next day on the 10th. So what we're gonna do?
That's usually how the Road 2 shows go.
Yeah, they normally change one match, but they were like, "Nah, we ain't changing nothing. We're gonna keep it the same."
They sometimes they'll interchange certain wrestlers between matches and stuff like that, but they're definitely keeping this the same because they'll be in a different town for this particular day. So yeah, everything that happens on the 9th will happen on the 10th.
Chris, I appreciate your second message. Your first, we can do without. New Japan Pro Wrestling should duck AEW. Start a new partnership with WWE. AEW is not helping. I mean, WWE ain't helping nobody either, but you know, it is what it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about it before on the 11th. It was supposed to come on, and I can't find it, so I don't want to review it if I ain't seen it. Uh, so it's gonna come on the 11th on YouTube on the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling channel. You can watch this show, Sacred Ground. Okay, we went over the matches last week because it actually I think it came on the 9th. So, but we'll talk about it on the 11th. Ladies and gentlemen, you know it's WWE, you know it's AAA, and you know what happens? That's when worlds collide, ladies and gentlemen. I will be doing a watch along with Worlds Collide. Make sure you're there. Make sure you're there. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's already set up. It's already there. Make sure you go and watch it. But we're going to go over it. Ladies and gentlemen, for Worlds Collide, we have Lindsay Dorado and LWO, which is Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild, along with Mini Abismo Negro. Did I pronounce that right, Jada? And La Parca,
LA Park.
Mascarita. Does that pronounce?
Where are we?
First match,
Yeah,
Mascarita.
Mascarita Sagrada. Yeah.
Yes, and Nino Hamburguesa and Octagon Jr. See, the ones I know already, I can shoot them out. The rest of them, we got to fight. For the AAA Latin American title four-way match, we have El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. versus JD McDonough, Ethan Page, and Dragon Lee. We have Lola Vice and Mr. Iguana versus the Judgment Day of Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez. We have for the AAA Rena Garrinas title number one contendership match, Natalia versus Fabi Apache. We have for the AAA World Tag Team title match, Pagano and Psycho Clown, the champions, versus the New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. And for the AAA Mega title match, we have El Hijo del Vikingo versus Dominic Mysterio. So hold on, let me catch. Let me catch. Try to catch all the good. New Japan Pro Wrestling. We ain't gonna put that one up. Lucha Libre is the best person out there. Okay. Hey, how you doing? Let me and J.News come in the middle. Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Huh? Okay, so you can just get banned just that quick. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to the next one. My favorite, and I'm gonna tell you because it's hardcore. Okay, hardcore country. Listen, GCW out here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's called Evil Deeds. Okay, you saw it. I had to get down low for that. Evil Deeds. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it takes place on the 12th on Triller TV. And ladies and gentlemen, Joey Janela and Marcus Mathers versus Bang and Matthews, which is August Matthews, David Bang. They'll be together versus Boisterous Behavior, which is Leon Slater, and I get to listen to Man Like DeReese. Jesus Christ. And versus Los Desperados, which is Alvarez and Gringo Loco. We have Beastmen versus Matt Swarter. We have We have two tag team death matches. The first one is Bobby Beverly and Matt Tremont versus the Cougar brothers, Atticus and Otis Cougar. I don't know why I want to combine them together. Then we have the second death match was the rejects of John Wayne Murdoch and Reed Bentley, ladies and gentlemen, versus the pillars of Malcolm Moore III and Tommy Vendetta. We have Megan Bain versus Shotzi Blackheart Banger. We have better yet, I ain't even got to say it no more. I ain't got to be screaming in the camera banger. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say it's a banger. Yep. I'm Funk Master Flex in this piece. GCW tag team. That was a small little pow. That was it. It didn't give me the look. I listen. I give you a punch. That was a punch. That was a light little punch. I might need to turn it up. Maybe that's it, J.News. Wait a minute. Banger. There you go. Banger. Funk Master Flex now. GCW tag team title / JCW tag team title riddle box match. Now you're saying, Delores, what is a riddle box match? I'm gonna tell you, I don't know. YDMP, which is Alex Price and Jordan Oliver, go against the Brothers of Funstruction, Ruffo the Clown and Yabo the Clown, and they are clowns. Ladies and gentlemen, MLW has a show on Triller TV, Fightland 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, MLW Women's World Featherweight title match, Shoko Nakajima versus Yuki Kamafuku. I pronounced that right, J-News? Yeah,
Yep.
I've been practicing. I've been practicing for J-News. I've been listening. I've been listening to them slowing it down functions. Opera Cup 2025 first round match, Blue Panther Jr. versus Zanderkun Jr. For Shotzi Blackheart again wrestles again versus Alexandria Quintanilla. That's how you
Alejandra Quintanilla.
see J-News word right there.
Mm.
J-News word right there. I have never seen that girl in my life, and I don't know
I
why.
believe she's worked MLW before, so this isn't her first go around with them. But it's definitely Shotzi's first match against her, so we'll see how that
Yeah,
goes.
I got like generally if you're not a big name, and you haven't wrestled a big name, I don't really know you. Texas Death Match, Matthew Justice versus Hammerstone. The Opera Cup 2025 first round match, Valdor Jr. versus Teton. MLW World Middleweight title match, Templario, as J News says, versus Iku
Ikaru Kwan.
Iku Kwan. See, listen, I was about to start, and then I was like, no, Delores, don't mess it up. MLW World Heavyweight title match, Matt Riddle versus Donovan Dodger. I pray to the heavens above, answer this prayer, make Matt Riddle lose. That sorry sack of son of a, I can't take him. And after he did that interview the other day, made me really hate him as a person, not just a character. Talking about that Me Too BS. You take it up your and shove it up your. Ladies and gentlemen, GCW with another show. I get a little bit of hardcore next week, twice in a week. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Rumble on the River. Rumble on the River is on the 13th. I get to see Calvin Tankman versus One Kyle Manders. We get Nate Webb versus Matt Cardona. We get Janelasis, which is his girlfriend, Megan Bain and Joey Janela, versus Los Desperados, Alvarez and Gringo Loco. We get a GCW tag team title match, YDMP, which is Alex Price and Jordan Oliver versus Boisterous Behavior, which is Leon Slater and that man like DeReese. GCW World title match. I get to see my guy Effie against my girl Billy Stark. And now we're on to J News' favorite thing, New Japan Pro Wrestling.
And continuing on with the shows for the Road 2. This is the shows from the 13th. Pre-lib matches, Zane J versus Tatsuya Matsumoto, Katsuya Murashima, Masatori Yasuda, and Shama Kato going up against the Great Bash Heel tag team of Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Hama, along with Tiger Mask, Oli Bolton, Shota Umino, Yu Uemura, going up against House of Torch members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Evil, Daiki Nagaya, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi, along with Yoda Tsuji of the unaffiliated, will go up against the Bullet Club War Dogs, David Finley, Gabe Kid Gato, and Taiji Ishimori. 6-man tag team match. We're going to have Tai Chi, Taka Michinoku, and Tomohiro Ishii go up against Bullet Club War Dog members Clark Connors, Oscar, and Yuto Ice. The House of Torture members Doki, Ren Narita, Sonata Show, and Yujiro Takahashi will face off against TMDK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. And for the never open weight 6-man tag team title match, we're going to have Master Wato, Toru Yano, and Yo, the champions, go up against El Desperado, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Ryusuke Taguchi.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's the end. Not really. Shocker. It's spotlight time. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know who my spotlight today is? I'm going to take J News down and just leave me and you up here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my spotlight today is somebody who I admire, somebody who I love, and somebody who I've been waiting a long long time to see. And it is AJ Lee, ladies and gentlemen. She is my spotlight of the week. For those who do not know, if you just have any, for her, it's like if you have any kind of uh, uh, mental, physical issues, you are labeled something. You are put a label on. For her character, because she was in real life bipolar, was called Crazy, and her book is that Crazy is my superpower. And for them to mention it in the broadcast, and she was about to slap Becky, but they were like, "She's acting crazy." Like, no, Crazy, you don't know her. Crazy is her superpower. It's the greatest thing ever, because growing up, I was like, being wild, free, and crazy was just my superpower. I could do any and everything, and I could just be just myself and be free. And I love her for that. If I do not, anybody, any wrestler, I don't have a bond attachment is to her. It's because she has just always been out there. She's always been free. She's always spoke her mind when it comes to interviews and different things about the things that she goes through in her personal life. And for that, I appreciate AJ Lee. And she is my spotlight of the week, because we're going to light it up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? J.News, what do you think about her?
I think that like I said before when we started the podcast and we were talking about Raw and SmackDown, um, she was in the WWE during an era where the women's division was going through a change. She set the bar for wrestling for women in the ring at that point in time during that Divas era. She's a former WWE Divas champion. My thoughts on AJ Lee are that I think she was a tremendous asset to the WWE at the time that she was there. She gave them a shot in the arm when it came to merch sales and having her definitely generate a relationship with the WWE universe outside of what people thought about what women's wrestling was, due to the lack of understanding and lack of better booking for the women's division coming from the WWE and their creative team all those years. She was definitely somebody who stood out and was different than the rest, and I admired her for that. Um, I think a lot of folks um, make certain commentaries on social media in bad faith, right? And this is a big, her comeback to the WWE is a big deal due to the fact of what Dolores was saying earlier, what she means to a whole generation of not just young ladies who watch professional wrestling, but also young men who were watching professional wrestling at that time too, because you could take her legitimately and seriously as a pro wrestler. She wasn't one of these dainty girls who had to be out there and overly expose themselves in a overly sexual way just to be liked and stuff like that. She was a grappler. She's a native of the Northeast. She's from New Jersey originally. She worked a lot of the Northeast Indies when I was getting myself back into wrestling and things of that nature. I remember the first time I ever heard her name. Even though he's a WWE shill now and he works for them. Shout outs to Sam Roberts. Many years ago, over a decade, over 15 years ago at this point. If it wasn't for Sam Roberts, I would have never known who AJ Lee was on the Indies. So shouts to Sam for that. And then when she got signed by the WWE, it was just like, oh, damn, she's popping up on WWE TV now. This is cool. And she made a world of a difference for not just younger female fans watching, but at the same time, she made a tremendous difference for the women's division and for the women at the WWE, because she fought for more time. She fought for more respect. She fought for just some sort of semblance of equality with her with the women in the locker room, and the men, and being better booked on TV and not just seen through this very narrow lens. So I applaud AJ Lee for that, and her commitment to that, and her will to want to continue to fight for women to be seen in a different light in the wrestling landscape. So props to AJ Lee. I've got nothing bad to say about her at all. And I think it's tremendous that she's coming back, and hopefully she gets booked in good feuds, and she has good matches, and she enjoys her time back in the WWE. That is my hope for her.
Maybe she'll have a little influence on, helping book the women in a better position than they are currently in. And so that's my hope, because it seemed like Triple H was very high on her. So it was like, okay, it's just not a pop. And for her to go out there, because they're saying it did look like she was hooded and sweating and stuff. Looked like it was after the match she signed the contract. She just went out there on good faith. She could have came back and been like, bump this, I don't want to do this.
Right.
And so that was how they kind of trust her a little bit better. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna have to go to the main studio because it's time for J.News to tell you about it. And I want to let y'all know I struggled this week with ChatGPT and J.News. I asked it to be just a little bit more ratchet, J.News. And I don't even know who it thought I was, because he's supposed to be listening to me. We went through one where they say you were like EBT hitting on the first. And then I said, no, we can't do that. Then they compares you twice to being authoritative, like running stuff like you were VKM. I said I can't do that either. So we had to struggle about 2 or 3 times. The fourth try was the one that worked out for us, J.News. And so I'm about to solo out J.News so I can tell you. Look here, J.News, that man solid as hell. He a real one, straight up. Ain't just good, he great with it. Dude breaking down wrestling like he backstage calling shots. And when it comes to the movies, child please. He tell it like it is. No fluff, no cap. He don't sugarcoat nothing, and that's why we rock with him heavy. Good man, good vibes, good game, period. If you don't know J.News, you sleeping. Wake your ass up.
I can accept that from Chat GPT. As usual, folks, thank you for tuning in to the Hit the Ropes podcast here on wherever you're watching it, either be my YouTube channel, whether it be Dolores's YouTube channel, whatever source of social media, what you would call it, whatever source of social media that you'll find our streams on. This is my QR code here. My QR code takes you to my LinkedIn, my link tree, and things of that nature. My link tree on there has the link to my YouTube channel, which hooks you up to the Hit the Ropes podcast, which comes on every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also takes you to my socials at John LYFNMG, either on Twitter /X or Instagram. Takes you to my Letterboxd page, my Letterboxd account, in which I log all the different movies that I watch at the movie theater. I'm an avid movie theater goer, unless I do state it in my reviews whether or not I watch the movie at home or in the theater. By majority, I watch all of my movies at the theater. I don't have any new reviews up as of yet, but I did watch 2 new movies this last week. It's going to be a full week for me at the movie theater this week, so look out for some reviews on my Letterboxd account. I write my reviews right now. I had to scale back some things financially, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to continue with my podcast from a movie standpoint. But you can catch my written reviews on Letterboxd. You can also catch me on the True Heel Heat podcast on the YouTube. I am always on there when it comes to New Japan pro wrestling and whatnot. So you can catch me on there with SP3 and Sanal whenever there's a New Japan show to talk about. And yeah, that would be me, your good brother J News. And as always, folks, much appreciated. Thank you for watching, and thank you for participating in the chat.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you got J News in the house. If you don't go check him out, listen, I tell y'all every week, every doggone week, I tell y'all don't go check out J News, which he got 18 subscribers, so we doing good. Y'all don't go over there and go and subscribe to J News. I'm going to two piece. Okay, this is gonna be on. We're gonna be swinging. Okay, because I done told you you need to go over there and check out J News. And you can't follow me and not follow J News. Okay, because without J News, it wouldn't be no Hit the Roads podcast. Because you know what, Sister K can't say all them big words. That's just not in my vocabulary. Okay, that's why we got J News. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go to me. And as we know, Dolores, because I'm already techie and I teach y'all tech and stuff, I'm not gonna do no chat GBT. I'm gonna give you either whatever I'm feeling throughout the week, whatever song that I love. And I went from I think her name is Bria Bass. I listen to the song so much, but I'll never know her name. It's called Mrs. IDGAF. Okay. So it says Mrs. IDGAF, Mrs. I Ain't Never Cared, Mrs. Itch We Outside, Mrs. I Be Everywhere. That ninja say I'm crazy, Mrs. They can call me Mrs. Oh well because I ain't never scared, Mrs. I'm gonna raise hell. That is me, okay? Y'all didn't know that is me. That is me in a lyric. So I enjoyed it, and so that's why I was like, I've been listening to it heavy. She has a second version that might be next week. It's a little bit more lyrically captivating. But I love all her songs. I listen to them all the time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to run down some things, then I'm gonna go into a little bit about myself because I got some things personal I want to talk about at the end. Ladies and gentlemen, the Women's Closet from the Educated Natural. Please go check it out. You go to educatednatural.com/women to sign up. We meet up every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to fellowship and grow with each other. Please, 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 if you're in my YouTube channel, her link is already dropping in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, August 25th and 26th is the Mastermind Class Part 2. This time we'll be talking about the psychological game of business. Listen, I'm about to get my ticket, and I would hate for you all to be looking on the outside. As Chris Brown said, how you gonna hate from the outside of the club? You can't get in, okay? Because when she locked them doors, it's over. You're gonna miss a whole lot of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna wish you had been there. Because when I'm growing and my clients are growing and she's growing and we out here just people it's money everywhere, y'all gonna wish y'all had came. So make sure you get your tickets. She has 2 levels, the basic level, and then she has a VIP access, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, she gonna in that VIP access, I'm telling you, get everything. So to go to get the tickets, you have to go to theeducatednatural.com/masterclass. Okay. She also does consultations on her website, theeducatednatural.com. She also builds websites on her things on her website. She has a website building business. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, Juliet Productions. How you doing? Hope all is well with you. Ladies and gentlemen, also, Miss Joy, ladies and gentlemen, I do her Mondays and Thursdays, live at 6:05 PST, 9:05 EST. So every Monday and Thursday. Monday is crafting, Thursday is prayer. Okay. So if you want to learn some new crafts as a beginner, I suggest you go in there. If you are if you need a prayer, if something's going on and you just don't have anybody who you can be a prayer warrior with, I suggest you come in there and get your prayer on. Listen, I'm telling you all, Please come in there and get your prayer. It doesn't hurt to pray. It doesn't hurt to have just just a little bit of support from people who know you best. Okay, just come on in there. I have been in there. I have seen people who have prayed for family members going through things, stuff happening with other people, and then you never know what's going on. And to see people to come back and give us good reports that good things have happened. Listen, I can only tell you all what I've seen from my personal self. And for my personal self, I've seen people just grow and love each other for an hour. Prayer is only for 1 hour, okay? 1 hour. And it is the greatest thing ever, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to tell you about Just Gifted, okay? Just Gifted. Y'all know about Just Gifted? She made some fantastic baskets. She's gonna come on at 5 o'clock on Monday and 5 o'clock on Thursday. Now I don't have the thumbnail in my rotation, but Thursday she is doing a 1K celebration on her channel at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come over there. She is fully monetized. Okay, make sure you go on over there and get just have some fun with her. For those who are asking, yeah, Dolores, how do I send in for the quilt? The quilt, all the blocks are due before the first. These are the directions. Also, let me take J.News off the top. He left J.News over there. Okay. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a service or another product, if you make cups, if you make shirts, if you do whatever, you can send that in. These are auctioning off for the it was boys and girls, but because there were only a handful of girls, they moved them to a different location. So it's just a boys club where homeless youth are housed at in California. So please, please, please support them. Show them that somebody, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, whatever that is listening, Kick, if you're listening to me now, somebody supports them. Somebody cares for them when they don't have anybody else. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, Shirley O.G. Gardner. She's giving out all these gardening and life tips. Listen, I've been listening to her. I've been out here looking fly. Listen, J.News, we learned the other day that if you can't put lotion on and it just rubs into your skin, if you got to just hard rub it in, ain't good for you. She's telling us tips and tricks to take care of our hands and skin. And I was like, after gardening, I was like, listen, I can't be going out here rough. I appreciate this. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, I manage over at the Workhorse Wrestling Network, and I think once or twice this week you've seen me just pop up. Hey, how you doing? I'm in the meeting. I'm having an argument. I'm going down. I'm defending my case. Okay, but we had to have a good time over there. So please join the Workhorse Wrestling Network. They do a lot of AEW watch-alongs. They have the cookout on Tuesday, 10:30. They have AEW coverage for the week on Saturday at 10 a.m. And then on Friday, they have Friday Night SmackDown at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go on, gallop over there. Make sure you go on and get over there. Ladies and gentlemen, the best moderator, the best gamer that I know, Jaleel757. Listen, y'all saying, Dolores, last week you said you're going to drop some gaming video. Yes, I will. But I started playing this game, and J.News, I got pop, 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 pop. So many times I got manager throwing my controller on the floor. Okay? It's been about 2 months since I played that particular game, and it was dog walking me, J.News, and I said, you know what? I ain't gonna embarrass myself in public like this yet. Okay? So give me about another week or so. But I will be probably doing some gaming on Kick, Twitch, and I'll show y'all a little something in my Discord if you haven't joined my Discord. Ladies and gentlemen, Slim Jim Longfoot. Slim Jim Longfoot. Listen, that's the song. I don't sing it right, but that's the song. Ladies and gentlemen, Slim Jim Longfoot. That's how you can get to his personal social medias. But him and Johnny Quest Gaming have a comic book studio, a studio where they make books and comic books at called UGI Studio. Okay, so make sure you go and check it out. You can scan it, you order it. There's a new book that we have to include. Love it, got it, read it, it's fun. So make sure you check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, next Friday, you'll catch me here at 10 p.m. as the worlds collide, ladies and gentlemen, where WWE and AAA meet each other dead set in the ring and they fight it out. Okay? Also, ladies and gentlemen, 20th, WrestlePalooza already uploaded, already set. You all can check it. Make sure you hit the notification. As we've said for the past few weeks, NXT has not given me a thumbnail to look at. And I hate to put something out there and then end up having to change. So, but I do know it's on the 27th. That is a date I will be coming out to. If you all did not know, every Saturday I've been doing the AI series. I do have to upload the after next one. Next one we're doing Microsoft Copilot next week on next Saturday at 12 p.m. And then the following week it'll be Google Gemini 12 p.m. We've already done Canva, ChatGPT, and Suno. So make sure you go back and check those out. Um, I'm going to tell you about myself. I'm Dolores from Dolores Designs. Yes, I am. Just a pink girl in my pink world, helping you upgrade your world. How about that? Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you get in touch with me. You can call me or you can email me. If you're trying to find something out, get something done, make sure you hit me up. If you like Dolores, that QR is too small, I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you. Here you go. Was it 4 second pose back in the day with the edge in them? Take a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, the last and most important thing, I talked about it yesterday, and I'm gonna talk about it again today, is that it's so personal, so deep to me. Again, I want to wish my granddad George a happy birthday. His birthday was yesterday. I miss him. I love him. I hope he had the most spectacular, fun, heavenly birthday with my grandmother and the people whom he was friends with and family with. I hope they just had just such a great fun party. And give grandma so many kisses for me because that was a good father, a good grandfather, a good brother, a good husband. He was just a great man, and I appreciate him being everything to me and making me learn the things of life. So, happy birthday, Granddad George. Now, let me get back to the both of us. Let me see if I can get the both of us. There we go. So, J News, we had a good time today. I think we did. I hope you did. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all, do y'all hear that? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? It's a fire! It's a fire! We're stopping to put it out, J News. What are we gonna do, J News, to put this fire out? I think I got something that'll help them, J News. And guess what, J News? I can't see all that. I need them to put some clothes on, J News, please. Because I'm definitely not trying to see all that. But, ladies and gentlemen, I got something to help to put the fire out. If I cut the lights off, cut off the lights, then we don't want to start that. Until next week, ladies and gentlemen, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is where you can catch me, Pink Girl in My Pink World, and the greatest movie reviewer and greatest wrestling commentator in the world, J News, here every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, until then, peace.